to part 2 of episode 11 of Film Focus, our weekly independent movie review show with me, Fred Black, and
Anthony Squire.
There we go. We've got 2 more films for you this week and 5 more trailers to look at. And what film do we start with? You pick.
Angel of Evil.
Angel of Evil. All right. Well,
It's a biography of... Sorry, I've got to look at my notes.
Yeah.
It's a biography of a Milanese bank robber, Renato Zasca.
Yeah, I had always had trouble pronouncing his name as well.
Italy's most notorious gangster, and I thought this film was spot on. The pace of the film, it didn't drag on in any parts. The acting was really good. The background music was really good. I didn't lose interest at any point in this film. I thought it might do because some of the scenes I thought it was going to drag on, but I was wrong.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with this film. I don't think it's my film of the week, but yeah, it's very kind of. I felt it dragged just a tiny bit. It's don't your shocked reaction.
It was a genuine
reaction. I wasn't expecting too much from it, but then being a foreign film, you always kind of expect a little bit more of a higher standard from.
I found these past few weeks, foreign films have actually turned out to be better.
Yeah,
than the mainstream Hollywood stuff that comes.
Oh, mate, we should get watching some Japanese horror films. If you watch some Japanese horror films, they will truly scare you shitless.
I know.
Yeah, so because it's just I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's just the whole kind of mentality people abroad have towards making films.
I think it's
but they just seem to take a lot more passion and time towards.
They don't go down the mega happy route ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this one kept itself bleak and to the point. I mean, I suppose basing it on a true life, on a true character, you have to kind of stick to what he's actually done. Although based on a true story, meaning he might not have done some of the things that they do in the film.
It was just so well done. The acting.
Yeah, I will admit this was actually quite a decent film. I
mean, Kim Rossi Stewart gave a really good performance as Renato Saska.
I will agree with you on that. He is very, very good.
You had your funny scenes.
I can't remember too many of those. To be honest.
Well, comedy scene. Well, one-liners.
I suppose there are some one-liners in there. Yeah.
Then you had it could just go from that to suddenly a pretty gruesome, serious scene,
like prison meetings and stuff.
Cut back to a laid back, and I gave it 7 out of 10. I
gave it 7 as well. I'm not sure it's my film of the week, like I said, but it's still a very good. It's just like very kind of just how to tell like someone's story, and there's it is like a very much a rise and fall of a notorious crime boss.
Yeah.
And someone who kind of doesn't know when to stop, as it were.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't quite know when to stop. He has that kind of moment where they try to take over, they try to rob like an insurance company or something like that. They try to rob something with tons of money in it, and it all goes pear-shaped. And yeah, there's just all kind of. I think I may have got like a little bit confused with all the amount of characters they decide to throw at you, like all the different mob bosses they throw at you.
Yeah,
and so he's betrayed us. Who's he? He's betrayed us. Now he's helping us, but then he will betray me later on, and then it's like I don't know who these people are.
I mean, the scene in the prison, towards the end, that was good. I mean, I love the closing. I'm not going to ruin it for you, but I loved the sort of closing scene. Like, this is your lucky day.
Yes, I suppose so. Yeah, it. Excuse me. I don't think it had probably as much finesse. It did feel always like frantic. Like it had to get the information out as quickly as it possibly could.
I liked that. It just.
But then there were just some scenes where
it just sort of threw information at you, then suddenly onto the next scene, and the next scene was sort of calmer. Well, not calmer.
But they were still just like shoveling information down you, like what is going to happen next.
But it was done at such a good pace.
I
didn't get bored, and the directing was really good. The acting was really good. The story was good. You won't get. Well, I didn't get bored with it.
No, if you like kind of crime thrillers and everything, and you can stand to watch subtitle films, then yes, I would definitely recommend checking this out. I mean, I had never heard of this before we decided to get it, and it was just like completely shot out of the blue.
These foreign films,
they barely get any recognition at all, do they?
But most of the time, a lot of the time, they turn out to be better than the main Hollywood equivalents.
I mean, what have we seen recently? We saw like The Skin I Live In. We saw
Yeah.
Adele Blanc-Sec. I mean,
Potiche.
both Potiche. All of these, all those films we've reviewed within the past like 3 or 4 weeks, and they've been like head and shoulders above the rest of most Hollywood films of a similar genre. And you can't quite put your finger on it. It's like if you would given the same script to, like, if you given like the same script, like The Skin I Live In script to Michael Bay or someone else, some other big shot Hollywood director,
it would have been awful if Michael Bay had done it.
But there's that curiosity in the back of your head. How would they have done it? What would they have done with it? And would it have been as good?
Michael Bay would have gone in more for special effects.
Yeah, and the point The Skin I Live In is a film that you can't. There is no room for special effects.
The Skin I Live In, I know we're going over an old review here, but The Skin I Live In was brilliant because it could have gone down a gruesome route, but it didn't.
Oh yeah, it kept it more. It hid it from you, didn't it?
Yeah,
it hid all the
left
gruesome
it more to
things.
sort of imagination, and that helped.
It made it
kept you guessing.
It made it much creepier than it should have been.
Yeah, and especially the closing scenes.
Oh fuck yes, those closing scenes are just one of the most kind of jaw-dropping moments I've had in cinema.
Yeah, it was. I remember watching that, and it's when she says her lines, and I got thinking,
it's like, oh my god. But anyway, we're not talking about Angels of Evil because there's not much more to talk about it really, because it was generally just a decent crime thriller, much better than the British stuff that's been released recently. I mean, you got Lock, Stock and Layer Cake and all this.
Everyone doesn't have some dodgy Cockney accent.
No, they've all got dodgy Italian accents.
Yeah, but putting that to one side, it's beautiful.
It is, yeah. Yes, it's just a very well made film, and they've obviously taken time and consideration.
They obviously thought about it. The writers thought about what they were writing. It wasn't just let's do this.
Yeah, we're making a movie, guys.
Continuity. What's continuity?
Yeah.
It needs that. And I had to say that because of the next film we're going to review. But
oh yes, I kind of forgot what the next film was. I blanked it from my mind.
You never forget, no matter how hard you try.
And sometimes you just wish you could. But yeah, I think that kind of pretty much. Oh, actually, scores. Did we both give it a 7? Yeah, both gave it a 7 for Angels of Evil, and that ends our review. And then we move on to our trailers. Yay, more trailers. Taken off Apple.com or Empire Magazine. Our first one is one I'm incredibly excited about. Is one called Record Genesis.
Love this trailer.
Yeah.
Basically, they're recording a wedding, the usual happy stuff that goes on at weddings. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, zombies come out.
Yeah, you haven't seen the first 2 Record films, and I think I've put it on the shortlist for our new format.
Is it similar to what's that film called? Released in 2009, I think. Set in New York, handheld, with the monsters that come down from space.
Cloverfield.
That was really good.
It's like, well, it's that similar style. It's Record is a Spanish horror film, like handheld thing that follows a reporter and her cameraman on the night shift of a fire crew, and they investigate this They investigate a call from an apartment block, and it quickly turns out that there's zombies, I guess you could call them.
Beautiful.
In there, and it essentially just takes place in a kind of literally a kind of one-shot take.
Yeah.
From this handheld camera, and my parents watched it and said, "Fred," I was up at uni at the time, and they said, "Fred, you've got to come down and watch this. We will watch it again with you because it's just so fucking good." And I watched it, and it's literally one of the most terrifying films I've ever seen. Like, literally, just like. It's very short. It's only like 80 minutes long, but second for second, it's just one of the most scary. It's one of the most fear-inducing films I've ever seen.
Did you say it's shot in one take?
Well, it has that kind of thing. Like, they do kind of switch the camera off and switch it on again, like to give a break.
So it's got me thinking. There's an Alfred Hitchcock film called Rope,
and that's all in one take.
I don't know if you've seen it. I mean, I'm not sure if it was all in one take, but I'm so sure it was because the continuity was just spot on. It starts during daytime. it doesn't just go from being light to suddenly dark. You do see it getting dark in the background and the camera turning. I mean, it was a really good Hitchcock film.
But yeah, Record 3 seems to... Hopefully Genesis means they'll actually explain where the virus comes from, or this thing that's causing everything comes from, because they've taken it out of the apartment block completely, and they put it in this wedding setting. And it looks to be a straight-up horror film, not to do with any of the handheld footage.
Yeah.
Because some of the shots were like...
Suddenly, it goes from being like a handheld camera to suddenly...
just generic, just generic cameras placed at random points. I'm excited about it, but then at the same time I'm kind of cautious about it because
as long as you don't hype it up, you'll be fine. But that's the problem with films; you can hype them up a bit too much. I had that with Spider-Man 2 when it came out.
Yeah.
Sorry, getting sidetracked.
We move on to our next trailer. The very very silly looking Dark Tide.
It's not Mega Shark, but.
It doesn't even look like some sort of shark thriller, as it will be.
It's got Halle Berry in it.
It's got, Halle Berry is some sort of extreme diver, it seems, who kind of... You have the shark diving thing, so you get in the cage with the great white sharks, swimming around you. Halle Berry seems to play this character that kind of takes commissions for people to swim outside the cage with the sharks in the water.
That's what the trailer seemed to keep going on. Some bloke asking her, "I'll pay you loads of money. I want to go outside the cage."
And he didn't even seem to go in the water, which was the funny thing about the trailer. He's like, he doesn't seem to go in the water. So whether he's like trying to kill her through this...
I'm not really that curious about this one, because...
It seems to like throw in elements of like the perfect storm and, Shark Night and stuff like that. Well, it is. It has a sort of...
I love that in films where it was all going well until that night, and suddenly...
It is one of those trailers,
I click my fingers.
Yeah.
Storm clouds come out, the thunderstorm. I mean, my favourite shark films, Shark Attack 3, Mega Shark Malibu.
Yeah, well, I don't watch a lot of shark films. I mean, Jaws is always going to be like the film.
Jaws was, but I mean... Sorry, Shark Attack...
In terms of actual good films, I think Jaws is like...
Shark Attack 3, right?
Is not a good film.
There's one scene, right, where this guy's on a jet ski getting away, and it's just where he turns to the camera going... and then suddenly the shark hits him at the jet ski all in one mouthful.
And probably what is a really ropey special effect, I'm imagining.
Oh, I don't. There's one scene where a shark manages to eat a life raft, right, full of about 12 people, and the shark eats it in one mouthful.
I can't see myself enjoying this film somehow.
Sorry, I'm getting a bit too sidetracked.
Yeah, but Dark Tide, I don't know. I'm not too fussed about this film. It doesn't look like a world class.
I might rent it out when it comes out, but I'm not in a rush to see it. It just looks too Halle Berry going to the camera. There'll also be a breeze going through her hair, whatever.
Yeah,
it's kind of of it, really.
The next trailer we got is Take Me Home, which was kind of road trip.
It's weird. You got some guy who was pretending to be a taxi driver, taking some woman to Los Angeles?
California. Sorry, she said California, and then it seems like they just go back and forth across America. And he is, as you say, he's pretending to be a taxi driver, and she's having problems with her life. There seems to be some kind of finding yourself comedy, doesn't it?
It looks predictable. Obviously, the taxi driver and woman will end up, with each other. There'll be some drama thrown in. Whatever problems they're having, they manage to get sorted out.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what it's like. But
at the same time, it looks enjoyable. The jokes that were cracking in the trailer were good.
Yeah.
I'd like to watch this one when it comes out.
Yeah, it was definitely an enjoyable trailer. I did find myself chuckling a little bit. And I think out of all the trailers we've seen this week, I think this is one of the ones that sticks in my head the most. Maybe not for you.
Battleships.
Battleships is trying to just kind of shove it out my brain as fast as it can go. So
don't listen to him. He doesn't understand. Battleships looks brilliant. Anyway, sorry. On to the next trailer.
Actually, can we skip the next trailer as well? Pseudo, Blood of Our Own.
One by Canadian Bollywood films.
Yeah, the one by Canadian Bollywood films.
I'm curious about this one. For those of you out there who've seen Doom 2, spelt DHOOM, and then the number 2, Bollywood is... That film reset the standard for action films. Yes, it was Bollywood, but it was so good. And this one looks...
Sort of similar. To tell James Cameron that, really.
Oh, please, he produced Avatar. I've lost all
respect. He also made Terminator and Aliens.
Yeah, but Avatar was basically the weapons from Aliens, throw in some flying Terminators.
And he still made Aliens and Terminator, like 2 of the greatest action films ever made. Whether he made them with Doom 2 in mind, I'm not so sure.
That reminds me, actually, I remember watching the making of Terminator, and it's just funny. There's one scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger has to smash a glass window, and you watch the making of, and they keep saying, "Yeah, wait for the police car to go around the corner." They wait for the police car to go around the corner. Arnie smashes the glass window. They film it, and they just race off.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant, that. But yeah, Pseudo Blood of Our Own, it looked absolutely terrible. I didn't have a clue what the plot was, what was going on. There were so many kind of cliched lines of text just going across the screen, like a simple mistake, a horrible tragedy.
I want to watch this. I really do want to watch it.
It was so horrible.
Bollywood is so underestimated.
Yeah, no, this just generally looked like the production values and everything just looked so like bottom of the rail stuff.
It looked so bad, it was good.
But
so I don't know till I see it.
Yeah. So same with any film, really.
I can't believe I said that.
Anyway, I don't know what this film will be like until I see it. Oh. And I work with you. I work with you on this show.
Moving on.
Yeah, our final film of this week comes from the guy who did Paranormal Activity. It's called Chernobyl Diaries. And I'm quite intrigued
like to watch this one
it.
Because Chernobyl, it's one of those places I'd like to go to if I ever get the chance, because it's exactly how it was the day the reactor went off, and it's like as I've read, it's a living time capsule, but everything is as it was then. And I think that's amazing, to be honest.
It is an amazing, kind of, obviously tragic story that's gone on.
It's tragic, I just mean amazing.
Yeah, amazing is that everything is preserved as it was.
Everything's been left as it was.
Yeah, because they just had to up and leave, didn't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, Chernobyl Diaries is this story of like 5 or 6 American backpackers who are meant to be going to Moscow on a trip, and then they decide to go extreme tourism. They decide to go explore Chernobyl, and they have this guide, and there is some sort of monster or monsters
I wasn't sure if it's
hiding
Paranormal
out.
Activity.
I think there are actually physical presence. There's a physical presence there. It's not demons, as in Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
But I think there's actually the thing that immediately strikes me with something like Chernobyl and radiation, and is just mutation. So you've obviously got some sort of mutated humans that have survived there. Yeah, but this is.
I know.
Yeah, it sounds stupid. Coming from some of your film collection, that's pretty rich. But
forgive me.
Yeah, no, I won't. But yeah, it's the most obvious thing to put in there is like mutated humans or mutated animals or something like that. That have just survived.
I'm curious about it because how they'll play on the story. Because I thought everyone was evacuated that day, or is it going to be some caretaker stayed behind?
Some caretaker stayed behind and is now, tracking,
the evil, massive mutant monster. I'd like to watch it. I'm just genuinely curious about Chernobyl. I'd love to go there.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's the guy. It's not directed by him, but it's written by the guy who made Paranormal Activity as well. So whether it'll actually be any good or not, whether it will be actually scary.
It didn't look scary. It looked like your usual.
Yeah, that's the thing that I wasn't.
But then I know trailers can be misleading.
Yeah, and are you actually ever scared by a trailer? If you think you watch trailers for the latest horror films coming up,
trailers can be scary. like you said earlier, I've watched some Japanese horror trailers. I do find some of them scary because they don't hold themselves. They don't hold back.
I don't usually get scared by trailers so much, but because they've got to be really good that they don't show what's going to happen in the film, obviously. So
yeah, the best ones are the ones which
just
keep it short.
Yeah, keep it short, leave you guessing. But yeah, Chernobyl Diaries, we will just see. We will just see what happens.
I'd like to watch it when it comes out.
Yeah. And that brings us to the end of our trailers and on to our final film of the week. And why do we have to end on a low note?
That's the thing about this film. It's got...
Yeah.
I think its original title was what? The Jumping Rabbits or something? The Leaping
Yeah,
Rabbits?
we're confused about this one. We're reviewing a film called Justice with Nicolas Cage. Now, we rented it in the Blockbuster store we get it from. It's the DVD cover says Justice on the front of it. It's got Nick Cage running heroically towards us. The trailers we've seen online for it, and we reviewed a trailer for it a few weeks back, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it was called Seeking Justice. And I think that might be its American title. But then you said you've seen something... Another title
I did a Google search on it, so I didn't write it down. It was called something like the Leaping Rabbit or the...
there's what's the phrase they use all the way through the film? It's like the Hungry Rabbit Jumps or something, isn't it?
I think it was something like that. The Hungry Rabbit Jumps or the Leaping Rabbit, whatever jumps. It's just... I'm a little bit confused by that. Anyway, we said Nicolas Cage was in it, so yes, you're right. Nicolas Cage is acting as Nicolas Cage again.
We've had like 2 weeks of Nicolas Cage films now. We had Trespass last week, which was Joel Schumacher and Nicolas Cage and Nicole Kidman, and terrible. Don't laugh. It was terrible.
I'm just thinking about the film.
Yeah,
yes, it was terrible.
Laughably bad. And now we've got this with Nicolas Cage, Guy Pearce, January Jones.
Guy Pearce was one of the saving...
You see it, the saving grace of it, really. He was a bit more... like a bit more kind of out there in his character. He started off restrained, but as like kind of things start to unravel, he gets a bit more kind of
the story
psycho.
Is after his wife is assaulted, a husband enlists the services of a vigilante group to take care of the criminal. So that's basically Nicolas Cage hiring Guy Pearce.
Yeah, well, Guy Pearce comes up to him and says, "We represent an organisation who can take care of this guy for you." Reluctantly, he does, and but then they throw in the clause like, "You have to help us sometime in the future," and they ask him to kill someone. And obviously that's when things start going wrong, because Nicolas Cage doesn't want to kill anyone. Oh no. Why would he want to do that?
I mean, Guy Pearce, there's one quote he says, "I represent an organisation that deals with people."
Yeah, it's just like, fuck that. It should give you... Certainly all organisations deal with people. So, the script already is not exactly looking stellar, is it?
But I like Guy Pearce. It's just the way he was acting for it. It's like, I've been given a bad script, but I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I mean, this is... he recently appeared in that Prometheus promo we saw the other week.
Yeah, what is it with Prometheus? They keep releasing new trailers. They're ruining it.
Oh no, they're not ruining it. They're making me more interested. I want to see... I think they are just waiting to show an alien from Prometheus. Because it's just so obvious that they're making it.
In the trailer we watched earlier for it, there was one... But you know in the original Alien ship, there's a big seat and some massive creatures sitting on it.
Yeah, no, because that's what it's meant to be, like the Elephant Man, isn't it?
Yeah, but in the trailer we saw, you actually, just for about
a brief second or so, you see him kind of forming up, don't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, getting really sidetracked there, because Guy Pearce did this promo as Wayland. He kind of played Peter Wayland in a TED conference talk. That was written by Ridley Scott in this new film. Anyway, Justice, or Seeking Justice, or The Hungry Rabbit Jumps.
You know what? It was a bad film, but it still had a good pace. It just didn't.
It was a terrible film.
Didn't care. I mean, we were talking earlier about continuity. He just happened to turn up at a hospital.
Yeah, that's the most
happened to
confusing
turn
thing.
up at some random place.
It was like the most random thing. He somehow manages to turn up at a newspaper factory because the guy he's tracking down is a journalist or something. But there isn't any kind of coherent way that he finds out where this newspaper factory is, how the guy he's tracking down works for that newspaper factory. You know, there's no kind of apparent like connecting the dots thing that, you know, I mean, obviously that might just be down to clever script writing, but it's not. It just makes you figure out like, why is he there? What's he looking for? This happens several times.
It's just the script writers thinking, yeah, but no one's going to notice.
Yeah. No, we do. We do notice. So it's like, it leaves us like having to do more work, like, you know, figuring stuff out, because I'm just like, you just go, what's he doing in a newspaper factory? Why is he here?
I gave this film a 6 out of 10 because it was just so bad, but at the same time, you got a whole load of actors just ran. I mean, Guy Pearce was the saving thing about this film. The pace of the film, it's still okay. The pace of the film, yes, continuity, putting that to one side. Nicolas Cage was Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, he can't seem to do anything else but play himself.
Yeah,
can he? It's completely terrible.
Guy Pearce is what saved this film for me. Really,
yeah.
He was the bad guy, and
you rooted for him.
I was actually rooting for him, thinking, yeah. It was
kill Nicolas Cage.
It just reminded me of a scene from Slither where the bad guy turns to the camera and says, "I know I'm evil."
Slither, Serenity. You mean Serenity? You said Slither.
Slither,
because it's
Serenity.
right there as our tripod, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, the camera's still on a whole load of DVDs.
Oh dear.
I meant Serenity.
Have you told me you haven't done this before, have we? But yeah, Justice was just not worth any incarnation it comes up in, any title you see it.
If you and your mates happen to be out in a Blockbuster store on one Saturday night, just fancy getting some beers, I'd say get this film because it's just so bad.
No, I wouldn't say get this film.
I'd say get this film. It's just so bad. It's partially good.
I'd say so bad it's bad. I don't. It's instantly forgettable. I'm struggling to think of like stuff that was actually bad about this film because I can't remember most of the film. It's just kind of gone out of my head. It's
one of those films you don't have to think when you're watching it. Well, actually, that's a lie because you do continuity.
Yeah, you do have to figure out what the hell he's actually doing now.
But putting that to one side...
No, that's the main problem with the film, though, isn't it?
It's just a funny film to watch. The over-dramatic acting... Yeah, I stick with a 6.
I gave it a 3. I gave it a big old fat 3. It's just ridiculous. Well, I don't think it deserved anything better than that. It was just like kind of mediocre effort. Everything was just flung together in a haphazard way.
It's just another Hollywood. We're going to do this sort of film.
Yeah.
Spawn it out. Like we were talking about earlier, foreign films. They take time to think it over. So I'm starting to monologue.
You've already been doing that a while, mate. I don't mind. It's all good. But yeah, I think we'll end it there before we rant on.
Brings us to the end of the show. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Hope you have a good weekend.
Yep, have a good weekend, a good week, whatever it is, whenever we decide to upload it.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you later. Bye.